It is pouring rain outside, so that means that this is the perfect time to discuss another thriller movie. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing super well. So today we're going to be talking about a movie that was written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, who is pretty known for his thriller movies because they typically involve a shocking twist. That's right, today we're going to be talking about his newest movie, Trap. Now, this movie got a lot of mixed reviews when it came out, but personally, I really enjoyed it. You know, it was fast-paced, there was always something happening. I was really stressed throughout the movie, wondering how it was going to unravel. I just love movies where I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, and this definitely did that. Now, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Salika, plays a main character in this movie, so we have a little bit of like a Nepo baby moment. Her character is the singer in the movie, and she does a really amazing job at singing, I will say that. I really enjoyed the song, Where Did She Go? I downloaded on Apple Music right away, and I was just like, oh my god, like this song is really good. So she was really good at singing in the movie. Do I think that she was the most amazing actress ever and just perfect? No, I mean, not really, especially towards the end. Her acting did get a little bit funky, but you know what? I appreciated her character. I appreciated her singing, and I'm sure that, you know, the dad just did this to promote his daughter's like new music. So like, I get it. But I did see a lot of people criticizing the fact that, you know, his own daughter was starring in the movie. Now, the main character is played by Josh Hartnett, and he's just really talented at pulling off this like subtle, creepy vibe. Even when he's just trying to be nice and charming, there's just something off about him in the movie, and I just really liked that. I felt like he played it really well. So yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but that's basically what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Thank you guys so much for being here and for supporting my new channel. I appreciate it so much. And with that, let's jump right in and let's talk about Trap. Let me introduce you to 12-year-old Riley, who is sitting in the passenger seat of her family's van. Riley is just like your typical teenage girl. She's singing at the top of her lungs to a pop song by her favorite artist, Lady Raven, and she's even wearing her merch. Suddenly, she stops singing and says, "Go, Dad, go, Dad." She turns and looks at her dad, Cooper, who is driving the car and just stopped at a light. "I'm not going to break any laws, Riley. We'll get there when you want to get there, I promise." Cooper seems to be like a really sweet and caring dad who's just like maybe a little bit corny and dorky, you know? But like in a charming way. Like he's just like your typical dad that like doesn't get jokes, doesn't get like TikTok, but it's fine. It seems like the two of them have like a really great relationship. Riley just turns up the music and goes back to singing. "Maybe I'll be a singer," she says. "Yeah, maybe," her dad Cooper replies. The car drives as the light turns green and we see it pull into a parking space. Cooper gets out of the van at a normal speed while Riley literally rushes out of the car yelling at him to hurry up. "Wait, I gotta tie my shoes," Cooper says, and he bends down. Riley rushes over to him. "No dad jokes today. This is serious. Come on." She takes his hand and starts jogging with him towards the stadium, just laughing and joking. They arrive outside of the stadium and we can see that there's just like a huge crowd of people. "We're late. This is so frustrating, Dad. We should have come earlier." "This is the earliest I could get off work, Riley. I'm sorry." Cooper looks around trying to find a way to cut in front of the group. "Here, come here. Get on my shoulders." "Okay," Riley says, and Cooper puts her on his shoulder so she can see over everyone. She looks down below and we can see two giant buses. Someone comes to the door of one of the tour buses and Riley and the crowd start immediately cheering. Then they stop cheering once they see that it's no one important, it's just a member of the crew. Then the door of the other bus opens and again the crowd gets so excited. This time it's Lady Raven, the pop star, who gets off the bus and walks towards the stadium venue. "Put me down," Riley says, and he lets her off his shoulders. They run over to another spot where they can both stand and they see Lady Raven walking. The crowd is just like screaming and cheering as this huge pop star walks towards the door of the venue. She waves to her fans and Riley and the crowd wave back, and then she goes inside. "She waved at me," one fan says. Riley is smiling so big. She's clearly just so happy to have gotten a glimpse at who must be her favorite pop star. She turns to her dad as the crowd starts to leave. "I think I got a good photo." "Yeah, that was kind of exciting," Cooper says. He puts his arm around Riley as they walk with the sea of people towards the venue. Now there's a bunch of vendors set up outside and it's clear that this is like a huge and sold out concert. Like it's giving Ariana Grande. "I'm just so happy that she added this afternoon concert after her tour sold out," Riley says. "Tickets, I got 10th row tickets," a scalper says quietly to Riley and Cooper. "No thank you," Cooper says as they keep walking. "10th row?" Riley asks her dad. "Don't worry, they wouldn't be real, honey. Don't let people fool you. Our seats are good enough," he says, having a positive attitude. "But we're row 44, Riley says. "Yeah, on the floor, bam," Cooper replies. The two stand in the back of the line with other fans who are holding out their tickets, ready to enter the stadium. So give me an update. What's going on with the girls at school? Cooper asks Riley. I don't really want to talk about it. Okay, come here, Cooper says as he kisses his daughter on the forehead. He wraps his arms around her as they slowly head into the stadium. Cooper looks around and he sees several armed guards with like machine guns and like full security outfits, even including helmets, standing at the ready. I get that it's a concert, but that's like pretty intense security. Inside the stadium, banners of Lady Raven hang everywhere and her songs are playing on a loop. As Cooper and Riley head up the escalator, Cooper notices more armed guards standing at the exit doors. Dad, look, Riley says and points to several girls dancing. They both stop and watch them dance, and Riley pulls out her phone to take a quick video. Then, to Cooper's surprise, Riley just goes over and joins these random girls and does one of Lady Raven's dance with them too. Cooper takes out his phone to start filming all of them, and he's just so happy and proud to see his daughter like putting herself out there. Yeah, baby, go, Cooper says. So yeah, I mean, so far it looks like they're gonna have a really fun day. They're at this huge concert, they have floor seats, and Riley is just so excited to be doing this with her dad. The two head over to the snack counter and they wait in line. They aren't mean anymore, they just don't include me in stuff and they just keep posting stuff together, Riley says, referring to the girls from school Cooper mentioned earlier. It must be hard seeing what everyone's doing all the time. You guys are so connected even when you're not that close. Look, why don't you and I take a picture together when we go inside? You and your dad. Jody would be so jelly, Cooper says with a smile. That would literally be like the worst idea, and don't say jelly, Dad. Cooper and Riley look around for their aisles/seats. Throughout the stadium, there are more armed guards, and one even sets up an additional security camera. Again, Cooper notices this and is just wondering like, what is going on? Why is there so many security guards? They finally get to their seats and Riley is just so happy. These seats slap, Dad. Thank you. This is literally the best day of my life. You did this. 4 A's and a B. I told you I'd get them for you. I never got grades like that, so a deal's a deal. I did get lucky with these seats though, didn't I? Cooper says, putting his arms out excitingly. Suddenly, the openers come out. We are Papa's Boots, they say to the audience who are still taking their seats. Cooper takes a look around the stadium just to kind of get familiar with like the inside, and again he notices that there's security standing at every single exit inside the stadium. Some time passes and it seems like everyone is finally now in their seats, and Cooper and Riley eat their pretzels as they wait for the actual concert to start. So what does crispy mean? Cooper asks Riley. It means something good. Okay, use it in a sentence for me. Dude, your house is crispy, Riley says. I see. So if I were to come to somebody's house and say, yo, your house is extra fried? No, don't ever say that, Riley says. Why? Extra fried is better than crispy, Cooper says. Stop, I'm not teaching you any more words, Riley exclaims. Suddenly, the lights in the stadium go off and the audience starts cheering, including Riley. After a moment of this, Cooper covers his ears. I mean, this crowd is loud. Like, imagine being in a room full of just like teenagers screaming at the top of their lungs. The stage is still dark, but we hear Lady Raven ask, "How y'all doing, my kings and queens?" Riley screams even louder. The stage then lights up and we see Lady Raven in a white outfit with a hood, and a piano starts to play. Riley continues to just like scream, clearly just like so overjoyed to be witnessing this concert, especially with her dad. Lady Raven starts to sing and her backup dancers help lead her down the stage, and it's like a whole production. Riley just continues to scream over and over again, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," as she watches. Cooper watches with like a slight smile on his face. Clearly he's just happy to be there with his daughter. Like, he doesn't even know who Lady Raven is. He doesn't know her music. He doesn't know anything, but just the fact that he's there with his daughter enjoying this moment, that's enough for him. The night progresses and Lady Raven is just like killing it. Like, her songs are good, her dances are good, her setup is good. Everything is going perfectly at this concert. Riley is singing along when suddenly her dad tells her, "Hey, I have to go to the bathroom. You can either stay in the seat or come with me and wait outside the men's room." "I'm good, Dad. I don't want to leave." "Okay, but you stay in the seat. Promise?" "I promise," Riley says, never even taking her eyes off the concert. "I mean it," Cooper adds. "I'm good, Dad. I don't want to leave." So Cooper leaves the stadium and Riley turns back to the music. In the bathroom, Cooper waits for a stall. One becomes available and he goes in and he locks the door. But instead of using the toilet, he takes out his cell phone. He goes to an app and enters a quick password. Then all we can see is Cooper's face, but we can hear the sounds coming from the phone of a man who's kind of scared and slowly hyperventilating. Then we get a look at Cooper's phone. A young man whose arms are tied together with a chain and a lock steps in front of a camera that's recording him. He appears to be in a semi-empty basement, and there's a folding chair and a washer and dryer behind him. The man looks around and just kind of swings his arm around trying to escape. But he seems to already know that he can't escape. Why does Cooper have this on his phone? Who is this tied up man and why is Cooper watching him? Meanwhile, outside of the actual venue, several SWAT cars in like all different sizes drive up to the stadium. Cooper washes his hands in the bathroom sink as he looks in the mirror. Suddenly he stops and slowly turns to see an older woman with gray hair wearing a blue plaid dress. Cooper looks away for a short moment, and when he looks back, the woman is gone. He walks out of the bathroom into the busy hallway. "Oh hey Cooper," a woman's voice calls. We see a woman around Cooper's age walk over to him. "Hi, are you here with Riley?" "Yep." "Oh, well, I'm here with Jody," this woman says happily and excitingly. "I haven't seen you since that whole parents-teacher thing," she says and laughs. "Yeah, it's good to see you," Cooper says. "Yeah, listen, I really do hope that they can be friends still, you know? You know how girls are at this age," she says in a joking voice and kind of making a face. "And I talked to Jody, and she's gonna work really hard to include Riley in things." "Well, Riley was really hurt by all of this. As a dad, that's hard to see." "Right," the woman says with compassion. "Look, I gotta get back to my seat," Cooper says. "Okay, well just tell her that Jody and Sarah C are sitting right there in section 107 and they would just love to see her." "Yeah, I'll see you soon," Cooper says. So clearly this is Jody's mom. Jody is a girl that Riley has been having trouble with in school. Meanwhile, outside, the police teams in these cars start to rush out. They form a line around the entire perimeter of the stadium. Suddenly, a woman with gray-white hair tied into a bun gets out of one of the cars. We see the letters FBI written on the back of her jacket. More police cars begin to arrive. Again, this is lots of security for just a concert, and why is the FBI here? Back in the concert, Riley is still watching Lady Raven as she finishes the song. Cooper returns to his seat and says hi as he kisses her on the forehead. "Jody and her mom are here," Cooper says. Riley looks surprised and just looks around. "Where? Not near us. Just forget about them." They turn back to the stage and Lady Raven speaks to the audience. "My father left me when I was 7. I held that anger for a long time. It was who I was. And then one day I decided I had to forgive him or I would never move on. I pretended like he was in front of me and I said, 'You are not responsible for hurting me. I release you.' Everything got better after that." The audience just quietly cheers and Riley claps. Lady Raven continues, "I want you to picture someone who hurt you. I want you to try to forgive them and say to yourself, 'I release you.' Everyone, turn on the lights on your phones." The audience goes silent and people are looking down. Riley puts her head down, she turns on the flashlight and she's waving her phone in the air, and clearly she's thinking of someone who hurt her, which is probably Jody, and is doing what Lady Raven is telling her, to release this person and forgive them. Lady Raven looks at everyone in the audience who is joining her in this, vulnerable moment, and she just looks really moved by this. She puts her hand on her heart and then she takes a seat at her piano and begins to play. She sings kind of like a more emotional song than her other like pop songs, and Riley with the audience just sway with their phones up, just enjoying this moment. Everyone is just so in the moment and just so mesmerized by Lady Raven. Well, everyone except Cooper. He's not focused on the music. He's not focused on thinking about someone who hurt him and letting that anger go. He's focused on something else. He's staring up at a man in the upper area of the stadium who is being approached by the police. They briefly speak and then the police lead the man to an exit. Why are the police removing him? Cooper tries to focus back on Lady Raven, but he is clearly distracted by all of the police officers and again continues to look around at all of the police guarding the exit. Lady Raven ends her emotional song and she takes a little break, which is just perfect for Riley because she really wants to go buy some merch. So her and her dad Cooper head over to the merch table. "We have to hurry while they set up the stage for the next song," Riley says as they get to the merch table. Can I get that in a small please?" Riley asks the seller. I want that too," another girl around Riley's age says. The seller looks around and he kind of looks uncomfortable. Look, I only have one left, ladies." "Well, I was standing here before her like forever," the other girl says. "It's okay, Riley, let her have it. She really wants it and we can find another one later," Cooper adds. Riley nods, but she seems disappointed. "Sure, Dad." The seller hands the other girl the shirt and then looks to Cooper and Riley. "You guys are a good family, good values and stuff. Trust me, you don't see that. Listen, I'll get more soon and I'll put one aside for you, okay? Just come see me in like 10 minutes. "Okay," Cooper says. Riley begins to walk away, ready to go back to their seats, but Cooper stays behind. "Hey," he says to the sales guy who comes over to him. "I'm Cooper." "Jamie," the seller says, and they shake hands. "So hey, what's up with all the police trucks outside and the cameras everywhere, Jamie? Is something happening?" And the vibe that Cooper is giving when he asks this is just like really creepy, but Jamie doesn't pick up on it. Instead, Jamie leans in and says, "I'm not supposed to tell, so don't rat me out." "I won't. You know the butcher? The frickin' nut job that goes around just chopping people up?" "Yeah. Feds or whatever heard that he's gonna be here today, so they set up a trap for him. This whole concert, it's a trap." "Wow, here?" Cooper asks. "Yeah, they're watching all the exits, they're checking everyone that leaves. Like, there's no way out of here except the backstage, I guess, but no one can get backstage." Cooper sort of laughs, and so does Jamie. "It's kind of dope, right?" "Yeah," Cooper says. Now, Jamie has to go back to work, but tells Cooper to come back for that t-shirt as he walks away. "For sure, Jamie," Cooper says with a smile, which slowly fades. Cooper and Riley start walking back to their seat, and he tells her about a funnel cake stand that he saw and how he's really craving a funnel cake. "Hold on, let me think about it. Where did I see that funnel cake stand?" And Cooper just stands there buying time, pretending that he's thinking about this funnel cake stand, when in reality he's looking around trying to analyze the area. As Cooper is looking around, we see an employee swipe into a private room with a key card. "Come on, Dad, it's not good for you anyway," Riley says. Cooper sees that employee go into the door where there's 2 cops waiting inside. "Actually, you know what? I think it was further back where we were. Do you mind?" Cooper says to Riley. "Well, it's the next song. Let's go back to our seats. Come on, Dad." Now, Cooper kind of ignores her and sees that a young woman at the edge of the stairs is struggling to stand and her friend is helping her. Maybe this girl is drunk at the concert, or maybe her knees are like locking out from standing up too much. Regardless, this girl is trying to balance herself at the top of the stairs, and Cooper decides to use her. He walks over and he subtly pushes her down the stairs. She rolls all the way down and everyone takes notice, including the cops who go over to help her. "What happened?" Riley says. "I think that woman drank too much and lost her balance," Cooper replies. He moves Riley away, saying, "You know what, let's clear out and give her some space. Why don't we go outside for a second and then we can come back in?" "Why? What's going on, Dad?" Riley says. They get to the bottom of the staircase and Cooper sees that the police have now left their post to help the girl who fell down. However, they were immediately replaced with more police. Crap, his plan didn't work. His plan was to distract police with this girl that fell down the stairs. They would leave their post at the exit and now Cooper could escape. Cooper turns to Riley. "Hey, isn't this a song that you always play?" "Mm-hmm," Riley says. "Okay, well then let's stop messing around and let's get back to our seats." "Okay," Riley says happily, and her dad takes her hand and they run off. Back in the concert, Riley and Cooper watch Lady Raven perform. She finishes the song and says, "The next song I wrote was with a friend of mine, Parker Wayne. I wish I could just scream his name and he'd join me for the song." "Oh my god," Riley says, anticipating that he's going to come out. The audience is screaming, "Parker, Parker," and suddenly the ground in the aisle next to Cooper and Riley opens, and Riley just freaks out. "Oh my god," she says as she pulls out her phone to begin recording. The singer Parker is raised up from the opening of the ground and starts performing right next to them. It's kind of like Taylor Swift's concert, how she comes out of the ground. That's exactly what's happening right next to Cooper and Riley. The song continues as Parker joins Lady Raven on stage, and Cooper just can't help but notice that this trap door hasn't closed yet. He leans into Riley. "Look in the stage where the guy came out. I wonder what's down there." Riley looks at it but doesn't really seem to pay attention. I mean, she's more focused on recording the show, so Cooper tries again. "Hey, we should climb down there and see where it leads to. It looks really cool." "What?" Riley says. "Well, wouldn't it be unbelievable to go see what's down there, to see how they put on the show? There might be costumes and things." "That's crazy, Dad. We can't go down there." "You're acting strange. Is something wrong?" Riley says. "No, I'm just excited for you, that's all. You're right, it's crazy. Forget your stupid dad. This concert is crispy." Riley laughs and turns back to the stage. Just then, the trapdoor starts to close and Cooper just watches it. I mean, this was his chance to get out of here, but it's gone now. "Hey, listen, Riley, I'm gonna go back to the t-shirt stand to see if they have that shirt for you, okay?" "Oh, okay. Thanks, Dad." Cooper walks back to the same merch stand and sees Jamie, who greets him and says, "I was about to go down to the storage closet to get some more t-shirts." "Well, I can walk with you," Cooper says. "Okay, sure," Jamie replies, and turns to his coworkers to tell them that he'll be right back. Jamie and Cooper go to a door, and Jamie uses his key card to unlock it. They walk around the storage area and just kind of make some small talk. So, what do you do for work? Jamie asks. I work in the fire department. No shit, Jamie says. He stops to look at a box that's very high up on a shelf. Jamie reaches for it and Cooper comes over to help, but when he does this, he steals Jamie's key card. So, did they ever find the guy, the butcher? Nah, I haven't really heard anything lately. I'm kind of obsessed with him. I've been following him for all 12 victims. Oh yeah? Cooper says. Now you're not squeamish, are you? Jamie says. Not too bad, Cooper replies. Okay, well remember when they found that woman on the bridge? One of my boys was jogging on the bridge before they covered it up. Jamie holds his phone up to Cooper's face, showing him a photo. That's pieces. She's deli prepped like this dude is next level insane, Jamie says. Cooper lowers the phone. Sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. Are we cool? Jamie asks. Yeah, Cooper assures him. Jamie tells him that all of the employees of the arena got undercover code words to say if the police ever stopped them by mistake. Well, what's your code word? If you can say it, I don't want to get you in trouble, Cooper asks. Well, I mean, you are part of the fire department, Cooper, so you're on our side. Jamie leans in and whispers, Hamilton. That's the code word. Now, he gets some shirts out of the box and hands them all to Cooper, saying that it's okay, he doesn't need to pay for it, and that he can just pay it forward later. Cooper hands Jamie the X-Acto knife that he used to open the box while saying, don't forget this, I don't want you to get cut. Thanks, bro, Jamie says. They walk out of the storage area together, and Cooper goes up to one of the private access doors and tries to use a key card to unlock it, but nothing happens. He walks to the next door and tries again. This time, it unlocks. He walks into a room with a bunch of police officers all facing ahead during a briefing. He is a danger to everyone. This is a photo of one of his victims, a young man who went to the state university. He studied to become a teacher. He's married. He had a 2-year-old son. He took care of his parents. He was awarded the most liked teacher at his school where he works. These are the people who should win. Remember what the profiler said. If we get into a confrontation with our unsub, our job is to get him alone away from civilians as quickly as possible. I will personally take the team member who brings this freak down out to dinner. Let's go, says one of the head officers. Cooper is listening to this briefing about the butcher, and he quickly clips on a name tag that he found, and he starts walking through the police officers. Sorry guys, I just gotta check the coffee, okay? I'm just gonna squeeze through here. Jeez, you guys are so big, there's so many of you. Now, none of them really seem to pay any attention to him. They honestly just think that he's just a regular employee that has already been vetted by the FBI. He walks over to the coffee station and he's looking at a crime scene photo that has 5 different body bags in it. An officer comes over to Cooper and asks where they keep the sugar. Cooper opens a cabinet to get it and hands it to him. He also hands himself a coffee cup and starts to leave, walking through all of the police who again don't suspect him at all. As he makes his way to the exit, he swipes a walkie-talkie that one of the cops has left behind. Cooper starts making his way back to Riley when all of a sudden we can hear a woman yell, Cooper. Now it's the same mom from before, Jody's mom, that is rushing over to him. I'm really glad I saw you again. I can tell that you're upset, she says. I am upset. My daughter was hurt. Look, we can talk about this later. No, these girls just need to be able to work things out for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, to an extent I do, but it's delicate. Again, let's just discuss it later. Cooper turns to leave, but the woman says no and grabs him, turning him back. Don't mess with me, Cooper. I'm not someone to be provoked. I have a dark side that you don't want to see. Look, this is our day. Riley's been looking forward to this for 6 months. Let's just have fun, Cooper says, as police officers nearby take notice of this, intense interaction. Don't patronize me, Cooper, the mother says. Suddenly, there is shouting down the hallway and they both turn and look. Someone can be heard saying, get him. The police officers who were staring at Cooper and the mom have this interaction just take off running, and shouting and commotion can be heard. Hands behind your head, one officer shouts to someone down the hall. Now, Cooper watches, trying to see what's happening. 4 FBI members on a golf cart drive by towards the commotion. Cooper then sees them walk a handcuffed man out of the building. Jody's mother turns back to Cooper. What was that? Was that a scalper? Cooper ignores her question. How about this? Why don't we get the girls to go have a slice of pizza together, okay? How about 1 p.m. Saturday? The mother seems confused at first, but Cooper explains that it'll be good for them to bond around and to kind of fix the situation. And this is when the mother's demeanor just immediately changes. Okay, I'll ask Jody, she says. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna get back to Riley, so you enjoy the rest of the concert. You too, the mother says, completely softening again. Now, this was such an insane interaction. Like, why was the mom overreacting so much? She was kind of giving like crazy PTA mom. I had to take a break to make myself some tea because my throat was like on fire for some reason. I don't know. I think it's because it's cold and raining. My throat is just like not having it right now. But side note, look at how cute my little mug is. I got it from Disney and it's Winnie the Pooh themed. Oh my god, just so cute. Anyways, Cooper makes his way back to Riley. He subtly puts in his earpiece from the police walkie-talkie and he begins listening to everything the police is discussing, repeating, "This is Dr. Josephine Grant. The man apprehended is not our unsub." Someone else comes onto the walkie-talkie and says, quote, "I'm being told we have another potential match, section 14, seat 12. Cooper looks over at the police going to that exact seat and shining a flashlight in the man's face. They continue telling the different descriptions people have given of the unsub, and they're really kind of like all over the place, but one witness remembers a man with a tattoo of a rabbit on their arm, and Cooper looks down at his arm, and he has like a very small and simple tattoo of some type of animal. To me, it looked more like a sheep, but maybe someone mistook it for a rabbit. At this point, I think we can make the connection that Cooper is the butcher. Cooper grabs a Lady Raven wristband from a bag in front of him and he snaps it on to hide his tattoo. He looks at a map on his phone of the area and scrolls around inspecting it. I assume he was trying to find like an exit or just like a way to get out of this trap. No pun intended. Anytime they say the word trap in the movie, I'm like, they said it, like they said the title. So after hearing the description of the tattoo and hiding his tattoo, he takes the earpiece out and turns to Riley. "Oh shoot, I forgot my credit card at the shirt stand. I'll be right back." "Dad, you keep leaving." "I know. After this, I won't leave you." "Well, do you want me to come? I feel bad," Riley says. No, you enjoy. Tell me everything that I miss." Riley's like, "Okay," and she smiles back at her dad. "Now, just in case we get separated, meet me at the orange drink stand right outside the tunnel. Just in case," Cooper says. Riley nods and he leaves. He walks around a much smaller tunnel still full of people as he listens to the walkie-talkie. He stops at a fire alarm and looks at it, debating pulling it. Suddenly on the radio we hear, "Dr. Grant here, all sections be ready for contingency 4. I've told you how this is going to work." He's realized he can't get out. He's going to try to cause a panic. As she says this, Cooper literally has his hand on the fire alarm ready to pull it to literally cause a panic, but then he stops. He's going to try and use the chaos of 20,000 people to get by us. He's going to make a bomb call to police or set off a fire alarm. When that happens, only women and children are let through. So clearly this plan of creating a chaos or turning on the fire alarm or starting a fire isn't going to work. Cooper walks back to the main hallway trying to think of a new plan. He goes over to a snack stand and that's when he notices that there's a deep fryer there filled with oil. All of a sudden we see a hand turn up the heat on the deep fryer to the max. The oil then starts to bubble. Cooper then steps back into line pretending that he's going to buy something. A female employee sees that the oil is now bubbling in the deep fryer, and also in the oil are 2 glass jars of additional oil. Suddenly we hear the sound of them exploding and people screaming. 2 police officers that are guarding an exit run from the door and go over to help. We can hear the female employee screaming over and over as Cooper quietly grabs an apron that an employee left behind and puts it on. He's now undercover as an employee and he walks through the now unguarded door up a flight of stairs. He steps out onto the roof of the building and sees that there are 2 police officers guarding the roof. "What the hell are you doing up here?" "Oh, sorry, I just needed some air. There was an accident in the kitchen. Oh my gosh, I got freaked out. My friend got burned," Cooper says, acting like he is so overwhelmed by the incident that he literally just caused. "What's the code?" one of the officers asks. "Hamilton," Cooper replies. They don't say anything, so Cooper says, "Well, I better get back." He starts to walk away when one of the officers says, "Let me see your card, the one you were given at the presentation." Cooper feels around in the pockets of the apron and he pulls out a wallet that just happens to be in the apron. He takes out the wallet, looks inside, pulls out a card, and shows it to the police. The 2 police officers slightly nod with approval. Cooper is about to leave when he just turns back and says, "By the way, who was the older woman who did the presentation? She looked like she was running the show." "Well, she's a profiler. She's taken down 10 of these guys. She's thought of everything," the officer replies. "Well, that is a relief," Cooper says. He walks back into the main hallway and sees the female employee with burns on her while 2 medics tend to her in a stretcher. Cooper looks at her, but instead of seeing the 2 medics, he sees the same old woman in the blue dress from the bathroom standing next to her. I mean, it's clear that this woman is just part of Cooper's imagination. question, but who is she and why does she keep reappearing? Cooper walks down the hallway, making his way back to the seats when all of a sudden he runs into Riley. Dad, what are you doing? Got it, Cooper says, and he holds out his credit card. You're acting so weird. Is something wrong? Do you want to go home, Dad? No, listen, I'll be honest with you. I just ran into Jody's mom again and she started, you know how she is. Well, I made friends with the girls next to us. Everything's already better, Riley says with a hopeful smile. You're amazing, Cooper tells her. Let's just be together, okay? I want you to see the rest of the concert, Riley says. Deal, Cooper replies. Cooper and Riley make their way back to their seats and he tries to focus on the show, but obviously he's distracted. Dad, Riley says. I'm sorry, what was that? I said I hope I get picked for the Dreamer Girl song. They pick a girl out of the audience and she gets to go on stage with Lady Raven. Well, you never know. I guess we gotta keep our fingers crossed, Cooper says. Yeah, she even gets to go backstage and everything. Backstage, huh? Cooper says, seeming interested in this. The next song starts and Riley sings and dances along. Clearly, she's just having so much fun and obviously, she just wants her dad to sit still and enjoy the show with her. While Riley is dancing and having a blast, Cooper suddenly walks to the aisle and approaches an employee. Hey, I assume you work for her. Every teenager here is devoted to her. She could start a cult and they'd hang on to every word. Must be something to be that loved, right? Well, I'm actually her uncle, her mother's brother, and yeah, she's really great, responds the employee. Wow, okay, listen, we're so excited to be here. I'm Cooper, that's my daughter Riley over there, losing her mind even more than the other girls losing their mind. She actually just recovered from having leukemia. Now the employee looks really sad as he looks over at Riley. Cooper goes on just really selling this lie and says, please thank Lady Raven for us. Well, what seats are you guys in? The uncle asks. Cooper tells him what seats they're sitting at and then he heads back to Riley. He starts to kind of look around again and sees multiple officers nearby going to a man. He turns his attention back to the show because he really just wants to focus on Lady Raven and just be there for his daughter. But suddenly someone puts their hand on Cooper's shoulder and he kind of just grabs it and is startled as a natural reflex. Excuse me, sorry to bother you. Could I talk to you for a second? Cooper releases his hand, seeing that this man seems to be part of Lady Raven's crew and says, yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much for coming to the concert. What's your name? They ask Riley. My name is Riley. Hey, Riley. Well, we're wondering if you'd like to be Lady Raven's Dreamer Girl at today's show. Oh my God, Riley says on repeat and starts freaking out as she turns to the girls next to them. Yes, she says, and she hugs her dad Cooper with excitement. They walk towards the stage and past a bunch of police officers. The man hands them a lanyard and tells them to put it on. He goes over to the police officers and says, they're with us. An officer replies and says, well, we should still talk to him, referring to Cooper, because again, police are looking for a man. No, he's good, he's with us, the employee replies, and then leans in and whispers something to the officer. After that, Cooper and Riley are led into the backstage area. They watch the show from the wings of the stage, and Riley just looks so happy. They notice what appears to be another drunk girl being helped by a security nearby, and just then, a woman from the crew comes over and sweetly tells Riley how this all works and when she has to go out on stage and what she needs to do. Riley is so happy about this, but she's also nervous about going out on stage in front of all of these people, but the woman assures her that when Lady Raven takes her hand, she won't be scared anymore. Cooper hugs his daughter Riley and then notices the FBI woman down on the floor section. Lady Raven sets up the next song and says that Riley is going to be today's Dreamer Girl. She calls out Riley to come on stage and Riley walks over to her and they hug as the song starts. Now we see Jody and Jody's mom stare in complete shock once they realize that Riley is a Dreamer Girl. Jody has been leaving Riley out and just being unkind to her, and now Riley is literally on stage with the pop star. Riley and Lady Raven dance around on stage, and Jody then yells at her mom because she's just so jealous that Riley is up there and she isn't. Now meanwhile, Cooper watches as Riley has the time of her life. He then sees that the FBI woman is now in the backstage area watching the audience. He sees security walk by with another girl who looks like she's in trouble, possibly for trying to break in backstage or something like that. The song ends and Riley runs over to her dad and she just hugs him. She's just so happy. What a dream. She's here at the concert. She's made new friends. She's sitting on the floor. She's here with her dad. And she also got to be the Dreamer Girl. She is just so happy. And Cooper, of course, is happy for her. But again, he's also very alert. Cooper notices that the FBI woman is now coming up the stairs to join them in the wings. Cooper panics. He has to make a plan quickly to get out of here. So he decides to quietly pick up the drunk girl and says, she was about to collapse. where should I put her? Riley and her dad are taken backstage to a medical tent as he cares for the drunk girl, telling her that she'll be okay. Obviously, she wasn't actually going to collapse. He was just using this as an excuse to get taken backstage and to evade the FBI woman. A nurse comes up to the woman from Lady Raven's crew and is just so happy and proud that Cooper has saved this girl. He's a gem. Can we keep him? He's really good with them. Everyone just seems to love Cooper, but he tells them that anyone would have done the same thing. The woman from Lady Raven's team then brings them back to the wings of the stage and tells them that they can watch the final song from here. Cooper watches as Lady Raven has her team get her ready behind the curtain. One of her team members actually falls and Lady Raven crutches down on the floor to help her. I think from this we can see that despite this huge pop star, she is still a kind, a humble, and a caring person. Now this sweet moment is interrupted by an artist named The Thinker, who comes in and just rudely orders the staff around. So clearly he's the opposite of how Lady Raven is. Lady Raven says over the mic that The Thinker gave her her start to career and she owes him a lot. Then the song starts and Lady Raven, the dancers, and the Thinker walk onto the stage. The performance goes on and Cooper and Riley dance on the side of the stage, just enjoying the final song. Cooper asks the woman if when this is over, they can get to their car from backstage. "Oh yeah, that's fine, no worries. Thanks," he says. Finally, Cooper has found his way out of this trap. The concert ends and in the next scene, we see Parker backstage in the dressing room area walking around. He smiles and points two fingers at Riley as she walks away. Riley pretends to faint into her dad, who hugs her and just laughs. They also see several police officers walk by and then walk into a room of FBI agents watching the security cameras. "Dad, look," Riley says, pointing to the Thinker, who again is just yelling at his staff and just acting rude. His staff knock on a door and then Lady Raven opens it and comes out and hugs him. They both congratulate each other on the success of the show, saying that they're now going to go back to LA, and they say goodbye to each other. The Thinker walks away and he walks past Riley, smiles at her, and gives her a fist bump. While Riley is watching the Thinker walk away, just so happy that she's like backstage and that Lady Raven's dressing room is right there and that she's like literally within feet of the Thinker, Cooper is focused on his plan. He puts the earpiece from the walkie-talkie back into his ear and begins to listen in on their conversation. The FBI profiler is on the walkie-talkie and she's telling the officers to stop every male in attendance because one of them is the butcher. Now, the woman who's been helping them backstage says that Lady Raven wants to quickly meet Riley before she leaves, that she just needs to finish her meet and greets and then she'll come out and greet Riley. In the meantime, she hands Riley some concert gear and shows them the back exit, and we can see that there are a dozen police officers standing at the exit. So you're going to go through a police inspection there. They'll ask you some questions. It's nothing. We just have some extra security tonight. Only Lady Raven and her very close group are excluded. Cooper tries to think about how they're going to get around this, basically ignoring Riley, who is so excited to hang out with Lady Raven and is so excited with all of her new merch. In the security room where all the FBI agents are looking at the cameras, Dr. Josephine explains that while there are over 20,000 people, only 3,000 are men and the butcher is one of them. She explains how he's most likely out of moves. There's literally nowhere for him to go. Now, Cooper looks really angry while he's listening to this because it's true, like how is he going to get out of here? But then that's when suddenly Lady Raven comes over to them. "Did you have fun up there?" she asks Riley. "Yes, so much fun." "Oh, well, that's amazing," Lady Raven says. She then looks down and notices this cute ring that Riley has. "My dad got it for me. It's an antique." Cooper leans into Raven and says, "Hey, I think you heard about my daughter's condition. Can I talk to you for a moment, just for like 1 minute?" "Of course," Raven says. "Listen, I'm gonna go talk to your dad for a moment, okay? I'll be right back." "Yeah, we'll leave soon, honey," Cooper says to Riley. Cooper and Raven go into her dressing room and he thanks her for everything. "So thank you for such an amazing concert. Listen, I don't know if you know anything about carbon monoxide. Your body just wants poison. It wants it more than oxygen. That's why it can be so lethal in small spaces. Now, you need to know about these sort of things as a firefighter." "I'm sorry?" Lady Raven asks, clearly confused by this conversation. "Well, the reason I wanted to talk to you is because I think you're looking for me. I mean, all of you." He turns his phone over to Raven and shows her the man tied up in the basement. Raven looks at this and she's just so confused. "Help," the man on the phone cries. "Now, do you see that little box? That's where I can release carbon monoxide and kill him within 5 minutes. He's going to die if I'm caught. That's just an absolute fact. I can do it from here, from this device, like calling an Uber. Now, you caught me, I admit it, but you can save him. I'll let him go if you do one thing for me. What you're going to do in front of everybody is you're going to ask me and my daughter if we want to ride in your limousine, and then you're going to drive us out of here. I will press it right now if you signal them. Cooper says all of this to Lady Raven with just like an incredibly creepy grin on his face. He continues to show Raven the man on the camera and says, "Save him or catch me. Save him or catch me." Now Raven looks so nervous and conflicted. I mean, what the frick? Like, the actual butcher is here in her dressing room threatening her. Tonight's streamer girl's dad is the butcher. Look, his name is Spencer. He's 22 and he's into sustainable agriculture. Now we can hear Spencer on the camera yell, "Somebody help me, please. Somebody help me." Now meanwhile, outside, all of the men from the concert line up in front of police and they have to walk through a security checkpoint one by one. So if Raven says no to this plan and Cooper and Riley are forced to walk out in front of security, Cooper is going to have to go through this checkpoint and they're going to know it's him. Going back to Riley and Cooper, Riley skips as Lady Raven leads her and Cooper down the hall, walking past tons of police. Clearly, Cooper's threat worked. These three are cleared, an officer says. Raven, Riley, and Cooper then get into her limo. The limo pulls out of the parking garage and police open the gates for it and they just drive off. "You can just drop us off at the corner. We're parked nearby," Cooper says. Now Riley is sitting next to Raven with the biggest smile on her face as Raven kind of just glares at Cooper. Riley goes over to hug her dad and he hugs her back. Then she goes back to sit next to Raven. "Hey Riley, can I visit your home?" Raven asks. "What?" Riley and Cooper both look at her shocked. "Yeah, how about right now? I could just drop you there." "Oh my god, this isn't happening. Is this actually happening?" Riley says. Raven then throws a smile at Cooper. Riley calls her mom to tell her what's happening and to notify her that they're on their way home with literally Lady Raven. And while she's doing this, Cooper looks at Raven and pulls out his phone as if to remind her, "If I get caught, this man dies." Riley gets off the phone with her mom and Raven tells their driver that they're going to be visiting a friend's house. Can you imagine being Riley? I mean, she is having the best day so far. She got to have floor seats at Lady Raven's concert. She got to go be the dreamer girl. She went backstage and now Raven is literally going to her house. Raven's limo drives up a residential street and parks outside a house. Riley's mother, Rachel, and her little brother, Logan, run outside to greet them. Riley runs up and hugs her mom, so excited at the fact that her favorite pop star is literally visiting her home. Raven tells her driver to just wait there. She introduces herself to Riley's mom and brother and thanks them for letting her visit. They all enter the home and Riley and Logan run upstairs to clean her room so that she can show it to Raven while Rachel goes to the kitchen to grab some drinks and to grab some snacks. Now that they're alone, Raven turns to Cooper and he whispers in her ear, "I'll kill young Spencer if you say anything in front of them. If you send a text or if the police show up, I'll kill him. I think you know, I'm not bluffing. I'm in control. I don't know what you think you're doing here." "I won't do anything," Raven says. In the next scene, they are all sitting in the living room eating some snacks. "I love your necklace," Raven tells Rachel. "Thank you. Cooper got it for me on sale. He's so good at finding bargains. Always comes home with something really special." Raven then goes on to tell them that the concert today was strange and not like a normal one. Rachel's like, "Why? What was different today?" "Well, do you know who the butcher is, Rachel?" "The butcher? You mean that crazy person who does that to people?" "Yes, I've heard of him. He's a monster. That's all I can say." "Well, apparently he made a mistake. About 2 weeks ago, the FBI came to me and they told me that they found out he was going to be at my concert today. They actually found a portion of a receipt for a ticket. They found it in one of his fake houses they're fairly certain are his." Rachel looks very shocked to learn this, that her daughter and her husband just attended a concert where this crazy killer possibly was, and she asked Raven if they caught him and if they told her anything about him. Yeah, they did. They said he was probably a man in his 30s or early 40s, white, probably has a position of authority. They even know that he drives a dark-colored car. "They have photos of his car?" Cooper asks. "No, but they know from perception." "Yeah, he's also a man who has a scarring relationship with his mother. She was probably the first person to sense that he was different." After this, Cooper just jumps up and is like, "Well, you've had a stressful day. You must be tired. Don't feel like you need to stay here to be polite. You've been so incredibly kind to Riley. Let me walk you to the door." "Well, I could play a quick song," Raven says, pointing to their piano. "Oh my god," Riley says. "On our piano?" Rachel says. They both just seem so excited, so Riley gets up and goes over to the piano. Cooper follows her with his phone out and shows it to Raven again to remind him of his threat. "You've all been so kind to me. Just one last song before I go." Riley, come sit with me. Riley gets up and sits next to Raven and just hugs her. Of course, Riley is just beaming. She has the biggest smile on her face. Imagine your favorite pop star just playing a song in your house on your piano. While they're sitting down, Raven suddenly takes Riley's phone and puts it in her pocket and then starts to play the piano. Raven is singing and just singing a really emotional song, the one that I told you guys at the beginning that I really liked, the one that's called Where Did She Go? And she's just singing in the moment, and Cooper is filming this entire interaction on his phone. Riley is sitting there mouthing the words and she just looks so happy. The song ends and Rachel claps. Shall we take a selfie? Raven asks. Yeah, but has anyone seen my phone? Riley asks, because again, Raven hid it. Raven quickly grabs Cooper's phone instead and says, here, let's use your dad's phone. Raven then starts snapping some selfies of her and Riley. Can I have my phone back, please? Cooper says. Raven just jumps up and says, I have to go to the bathroom. Where is it? Rachel points to it and Raven runs towards the bathroom. I need my phone back now, Cooper says, clearly frustrated at the situation. Cooper? Rachel yells since he's clearly being rude. I need my phone, he says, trying to act innocent. Raven runs into the bathroom, shuts the door, and locks it. Give me my phone, he yells through the door. Dad, why are you so upset? Riley asks. Cooper starts knocking on the door as Raven opens the app to see Spencer. Hello, she says to him. He looks at the camera and gets up. Hello? Raven just jumps back, clearly startled that this is a real situation, like this is actually the butcher holding this man hostage. Meanwhile, Cooper keeps banging on the door as his family tries to stop him. Do you hear me? Raven asks Spencer. Yes. Okay, well, where are you? Raven asks. I don't know. Okay, well, are you in a house? But again, Spencer has no idea where he is. He asked me to help jump his car, Spencer explains. Meanwhile, Cooper starts banging harder and the door is now shaking. You can hear Rachel on the outside continue to try and tell him to stop. Okay, well, tell me anything you remember to help me find out, Raven says. Okay, well, there was a broken lion. We stopped at a light and I saw the shape of a lion. Something was broken off of it. Okay, like a statue? Raven asks. Yeah, I think so. It was less than a minute before we pulled into the house. And the door of the house, it was blue. I saw it in the rear view mirror as we backed out. Okay, Raven says, I'm gonna try to get you some help. Who are you talking to? Cooper yells. Raven then takes out her phone and she literally goes live on Instagram to her millions of followers. Hey guys, I need your help here. I need it right now. There's a young man named Spencer in the basement. He needs us to find him. This is not a joke, Raven says. She gives her viewers the details Spencer told her about the lion, about the blue door, and she starts to look at the comments, but no one seems to know where this house could be. That is until someone comments that they live right across the street from a house just like that. Raven tells her viewer to go get her family and to go to the house because there is a man trapped inside the basement. The commenter then says that she's getting her uncle for help. Raven then goes to her texts and texts Jeremiah, who I'm assuming is a driver waiting outside, to call the police. Open the goddamn door, Cooper yells. Rachel, listen to me. Your husband is the butcher. Cooper is the butcher, Raven yells. She then hears the sound of glass breaking and some type of commotion. What's happening? Raven yells, but no one replies. She can hear voices and puts her ear to the door. That's when she hears footsteps coming closer and closer. She backs up away from the door when suddenly it swings open with Cooper standing in the doorway. May I have my phone back? He calmly says. And the rest of the phones you have? Yours, Riley's, I assume. What did you do to your family? Raven asks. Who are you talking to? Spencer, Raven says. Well, what'd you say to him? Cooper asks. Raven doesn't answer and Cooper just takes the phone from her and unlocks his app. He turns the screen to show Raven that Spencer is no longer there. Now, how did you do that? He asks. Raven still doesn't answer him. Okay, we're leaving, Cooper tells her. As she goes out to step out of the bathroom, he puts one hand on her shoulder and says that it's important that his hands stay on her shoulder at all times. He walks her into the garage and Raven just looks terrified. Cooper shows Raven Rachel's car, saying that they were right about his car. It is black and dark. Raven then gets into the passenger seat and Cooper gets into the driver's seat. He hands her zip ties and tells her to put them on. Cooper, listen to me now. Enough of this foolishness. You're gonna sit in your seat or you're gonna be punished, Raven tells him. Come on, I know what you're doing. Did I tell you that you could talk back to me, Cooper? Raven adds. Okay, the profiler told you things, Cooper says. You never listen when you're told, Raven yells, clearly trying to pretend to be his mom and use psychology to get him to stand back. Clearly, the FBI woman told everybody that the butcher has a scarring relationship with his mother, that she's basically the only person who he would listen to. I know what you're doing, Cooper says. There's a way to be a good boy, Cooper. There's a way to turn yourself good. Well, that's just not true, Cooper says, clearly falling for this psychology trick. Raven tells him that he can choose like he did when he was little, but Cooper says that he used to be punished a lot. I didn't know how else to deal with you, Raven says. I'll just do this one last one and then I'll kill myself. It's the only way to stop the monster. Stop telling stories. Monsters aren't real, Raven adds. Yes, they are. Mom, put on the fucking ties, Cooper demands. I mean, clearly Cooper has some type of trauma from his childhood and is pretending to have this conversation with his mom. Raven tells him that she has GPS on her phone and that they're going to track her and they're going to track where they are. He says that he'll just throw the phone out the window in a mile or two, and that's when he opens the garage door. Standing outside of the garage is his wife Rachel, his daughter Riley, and his son Logan. What? I locked them in Riley's room, Cooper says, realizing that he made a mistake and that they got out. What's going on, Daddy? What are you doing? Riley cries. Cooper doesn't move. Raven slowly opens her side of the door, gets out, and runs over to the family. Cooper gets out too, and Raven tells them that they're leaving in her limo. Riley, everything is gonna work out with those girls at school. Rachel, the water and heater guy is coming on Tuesday. Don't let him trick you into buying a new one. It works fine. Logan, don't forget to hand in that science project, buddy, Cooper says as the family backs away from them. This is his final goodbye. He knows he's never going to see his family again. He then closes the garage door with him still inside as police and SWAT drive up to the house. Dr. Josephine gets out of one of the cars and police surround the house. Inside, Cooper goes into the kitchen and starts collecting items. Now Riley and her family are put into the back of the police car and she's just sitting there watching as the FBI and the police swarm her house. I mean, how did this happen? How did the day go from spending time with her dad at a concert to now police showing up to take him away? What did he do and who is really her dad? Raven then gets into her limo and watches the SWAT team move into the house. Her driver gets back into the limo and starts driving her away. Over the walkie, someone tells Dr. Josephine that there's a tunnel in the kitchen closet that appears to lead to the neighbor's yard. So clearly that's what Cooper was doing when he was in the kitchen moving all of those items. He was trying to get through the tunnel. Meanwhile, Raven is sitting in the back of her limo when suddenly the car parks. Then the door swings open and someone in SWAT gear attacks her and handcuffs her to her limo. When she looks up, she sees that it's Cooper. He escaped through the tunnel in the kitchen and found Raven. He gets into the driver's seat of the car. Clearly he did something to the limousine driver, possibly killed him or at least attacked him, and now he starts driving into a very busy part of town. Cooper tells her that they're going to one of his vacant homes that he uses. Raven tries to get free. She tries to get the handcuffs off of her, but she can't. When I saw you on stage, I got the urge. It's strange when I get the urge. I think it's when I see someone who thinks they're whole, Cooper tells her as Raven tries to reach for a window switch. So he's basically saying that when he was at the concert, he was literally thinking of killing her before he even knew that she was going to blow up his plan. Raven continues to reach the window switch and she finally gets the window rolled down. And like I mentioned, they are driving through a busy street because this area is very chaotic right now since so many people are leaving the concert. You know how anytime there's like a concert in town, that area is always just like very busy. So they're driving through this busy area, and when Raven pulls the window down, a fan notices her and starts yelling, "It's Lady Raven, it's Lady Raven." "Help me," Raven yells back. "Why?" all the fans ask, confused as Cooper rolls the window back up. Fans then start to swarm the limo trying to figure out what's going on and why Lady Raven is yelling for help. Cooper looks around and sees that there is some merch in the front seat, and he's trying to think about a way that he can get out of this. Clearly now the car is swarmed, he can't drive through all the people, and he can't risk being caught. Meanwhile, Raven is finally able to break off the bar that she's cuffed to, and she gets out of the car. As she steps out, fans swarm her taking videos and just screaming. Just then, the SWAT team drives up, and Dr. Josephine, the FBI agent, gets out of the car, and the SWAT team tells everyone to get away from the car, and they start to shoot out the tires and they tell Cooper to get out. Now there's no response from Cooper, so they actually shoot out the driver's window, but just then we can see Cooper literally standing in the crowd amongst everyone watching this unfold. He's not in the car, he's escaped again. The police realize this, but it's already too late. Cooper is walking down this busy street in his new disguise, clearly blending in with everyone else. In the next scene, we see the broken lion statue and the SWAT team is all around it. Raven has now made her way over to the crime scene and and she goes over to Spencer, who is wrapped in a blanket, and hugs him. Even though Cooper has escaped, at least she was able to save him. Meanwhile, Dr. Josephine is back at the house with Rachel, Cooper's wife. Rachel asks her what she would lecture about Cooper, about who he is, about why he did this, and Dr. Josephine says that she'd say he's real comfortable and thriving. He doesn't set off warning signals. A parent might have sensed that something was wrong with him, but no one else could. Rachel's like, okay, I can't hear this anymore. I can't hear how my husband is an actual serial killer and how there's probably going to be lectures about him in the future. She tells Dr. Josephine that she just wants to be alone. Dr. Josephine says that that's okay, that 2 cruisers will be out front just in case Cooper comes back. Rachel is now just standing in the kitchen watching a security video of a van driving away, and then she turns on her stove to warm up a tea kettle. You always do that. Rachel turns and screams to see Cooper. You always stand with your left hand on your hip, like it's holding you up. Cooper, Rachel exclaims. You know, it's so funny how we know each other so well. We know things without knowing them. Look, I'm sure they made a mistake, Cooper. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding, Rachel says with panic. Now, it dawned on me that maybe the trap wasn't set up for the concert. Maybe it was set up here, Cooper says. I'm not following you. Well, maybe it kind of dawned on you too. The late nights, the jewelry. Maybe you thought I was having an affair, Cooper says. I did, Rachel replies. But that didn't feel right. What was it about it that didn't feel right, Rachel? The smell of cleaning fluid on your clothes. Not the type at the firehouse. The type that you smell at hospitals. Nothing I could have done about that, I'm afraid, Cooper adds. Rachel says that one time she saw him make up a lie to one of their neighbors on the spot, and that he just did it so convincingly that it actually gave her chills. Cooper starts to take off his shirt and folds it on the table. Can I take this from here, just to see if I got this right? A small constellation prize, he says, and he stands up with a knife in his hand. You follow me one day to the safe house on Brewster, the one I go to when I want to think, plan, not to do anything. I find it just as comforting as the doing. And then, if I'm guessing correctly, you went back on your own. Rachel's mouth trembles and she says, and I broke in. But there's nothing in there, Rachel. Just a chair and a table, and the thought just came to me. I couldn't get rid of it. The feeling just kept coming back to me, and I had a receipt from your wallet when I went through it from before. A receipt from Lady Raven's concert, and I left it there. And then I found a payphone and called the police to say that it might be the butcher. I tore it so it would look like a mistake. Your mistake. I didn't know what would happen. I just thought it would get them closer to you, and maybe I was wrong. Maybe they would prove that. Rachel says. Well, I went back. I saw officers interviewing the neighbors. I didn't know how they found it or what happened, but I never went back there again, Cooper adds. You're not okay, Cooper, Rachel says. I know that. We could have managed, Cooper says. Rachel then looks at the knife that he's holding. Okay, well, let's at least finish this pie. It was supposed to be a celebration, Rachel says, and opens up a pie tray. Sit down, she says to Cooper. No knives, please, he says. They then sit at the dining room table and eat the slice of pie. This won't delay it much, I'm afraid. I'll eat this in 5 bites, Cooper says. Rachel nods and says, I know. I feel such rage towards you, Rachel. I've never felt this before. That's different, Cooper says calmly, but adds that this anger makes him feel just like out of control. He goes on to explain how he's never going to see their daughter Riley or their son Logan again because of her. Now, Rachel just looks terrified as her jaw trembles and as she listens to him. This is going to end with the headline, Murder Cooper says, when suddenly the kettle starts to whistle. Cooper is now done with his pie and he looks down at his empty plate, but it's actually not empty. There's like this white powder residue on his plate and he dips his finger into the residue. You found my bag, he says. Yeah, you left it in the car. The police were too busy trying to track you down. Is that what you used on them? Rachel asks, and Cooper just drops his fork. Just to calm them, Cooper says. He struggles to pick up the knife and it seems that Rachel has drugged him. She put this powder into his pie to weaken him. It's amazing that you're angry, son, his mother's voice says to Cooper, who turns and sees her standing on the other side of the house in the open doorway. I thought I was pretending, but I wasn't, Cooper responds. Now Rachel is just standing there looking confused because there's literally no one in the direction that he's talking to. Like clearly no one is there and his mother again is just a part of his imagination. Not all of you is a monster, Cooper's mom adds. Not all, he says. You're my son and this is who you are. End of story. It's good it's over. It's good you're stopping the monster. Let me see you one last time, the mom says. Cooper slightly struggles to walk towards her. I accept you. "Come closer," the mom says. Tears start building in Cooper's eyes as he walks towards the door, but suddenly he is shot with a taser by a SWAT member. Cooper screams out, he runs and jumps on the SWAT member, knocking him to the ground and tries to attack him, squeezing his face, but that's when another SWAT member shoots Cooper with a taser from behind. Cooper then turns to him and runs towards him, but again is shot with another taser. This time, the shooter is Dr. Josephine. She is standing on the doorway, and it seems like she was the one pretending to be Cooper's mother, pretending to guide him straight towards her. Cooper cries out and falls to the floor. He reaches for his knife that he was still holding, but he can't move, and Dr. Josephine picks it up. She then walks into the kitchen and turns off the kettle. "We'll get your kids back to you soon," she tells Rachel, who just stands there staring, just shocked and just heartbroken by everything that just happened. Police walk Cooper, who is now handcuffed and ankle cuffed, out of the house. Rachel runs after him and stands at the front of the house, tears just falling down her face. "Just give me a second," Cooper asks. He bends down to pick up a bike that fell, and he kind of just places it against a tree and then continues walking towards the police car. I feel like this is just part of his controlling behavior where he can't leave the bike just laying on the ground. He needs to pick it up and organize it before he leaves. Another police car drives in, and Riley and Logan get out of the car. Crying, Riley runs over to her dad and hugs him. "Riley," her mother calls out. She then runs over to her mother and hugs her. Cooper just looks so angry about all of this as the cops pull him into the back of a police van and close the door. Rachel and the kids then go into the house, and Rachel closes the door, leaving all of this behind. Dr. Josephine then gets into her car, just looking so happy for this very successful arrest. Cooper is now sitting in the back of the van, cracking his knuckles as they drive him away from his home, as they drive him away from his entire life. The house is now quiet, and we pan over to the pink bike that stands on the lawn. And we now notice that the spoke is missing from one of the tires. Back in the van, Cooper pulls out a long metal stick out of his sleeve, the bike spoke, and bends it, making a makeshift key that he uses to pick the lock on his handcuffs. We hear the lock click, and he smiles as they unlock. He just starts to laugh. I mean, he's just so happy that he's free and that he escaped this trap once again. The credits start to roll, but then we get a mid-credit scene, and this time we see Jamie, the seller from the merch table, sitting in his living room listening to the news about the butcher, saying that they are about to reveal who he is. Jamie looks so excited about this. Again, he told Cooper that he was the butcher's biggest fan, that he was following all of his stories, all of his cases, everything. So he's sitting there watching the news when all of a sudden the anchor says, "Cooper Abbott, a local fireman and family man, has been arrested. Here is a picture of him at a local event." Jamie's face drops. He points to the TV and says, "That's Cooper. Oh my gosh, I helped him. I'm not talking to anybody anymore. I'm not talking to anybody at work. Nobody." He realized that he basically helped the butcher escape the trap. And with that, that is a movie Trap. I know, right? This movie is so crazy. Oh my gosh, that was kind of a lot to go through, but gosh, it's just such a good movie. I was really shocked that it kind of ended on a cliffhanger because I didn't see that coming. I'm assuming that this means that there'll be a second movie, which I am excited to watch just to see him escape, maybe try to get back to Riley and his family, or maybe get revenge on Lady Raven. Either way, I will definitely be sad for part 2. Now, was the movie perfect? No, not at all, but was it fun and entertaining? Absolutely. I thought the movie was going to stay at the concert the entire time, so I was a little surprised when we followed Cooper home and kind of left the concert set. I think it was fun to see Cooper's house, meet his wife, see his other son, and just kind of see how he lives. Okay, so let's go over some of the theories that I had at the beginning. First, I thought that maybe Cooper had killed Raven's dad. You know how she was talking about how her dad left her when she was 7? Well, I figured that maybe he didn't leave her, maybe he just disappeared because the butcher had killed her dad, and that's why she was using her concert as a trap to find him, because she made the connection. Then when Cooper reveals himself as the butcher to her, that's why she was so willing to go along with his threats and even go to his house, because she knew that he killed her dad and she wanted revenge and wanted to make sure that he was caught. Then once that theory just didn't really seem to be a thing, I then thought that Cooper truly was going to get away with this. I was not expecting his wife Rachel to be in on it. I feel like that was a really good twist, the fact that she set up this entire trap for him. Now, of course, there were some plot holes or maybe more like errors in the movie. For example, why would he prove to Lady Raven that he was the butcher instead of just making up some other excuse as to why he needed to leave the concert with her? Maybe he could have played with that lie about Riley being sick and used that as a way for Raven to let them pass through security. So I don't know, I just thought it was weird that he had to reveal himself as the butcher to her to escape. I just didn't think that made sense. Also, when he did the deep fryer thing and when he was going into the restricted areas with the key cards completely undetected, how was nobody watching the security cameras seeing that happen? Especially because we saw that room was filled with FBI agents just watching the camera. So if they heard that a woman was burned by oil in the deep fryer, wouldn't they have checked the cameras to see if maybe the butcher had caused this? Because again, they knew that he was going to cause some type of commotion or some type of scene. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting that no one caught on to him like sneaking into all of these rooms. No one caught on to him causing these commotions. It was just so easy for him to get away with things. Like, it was easy for him to get the secret code word from Jamie. It was easy for him to get the key card from him, the walkie-talkie, the wallet from the apron. Like, what are the odds that the wallet was in the apron with the specific card that police were looking for? You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it was just too easy for Cooper, but maybe that was the point of the movie, you know, to show how manipulative he was and how he was able to get away with it for so long. There were also just a few moments where it kind of just seemed like it was too easy for Lady Raven. For example, when she locked herself in the bathroom, like, I don't know why he wouldn't just break the door down, or when she was in the limo, why he wouldn't lock the doors and the windows to make sure that she didn't escape. I feel like he kind of just let her get out of the limo like it was no big deal. I also felt like her going live on Instagram to tell her followers to look for this house, and these people were able to find the house so quickly. Like, I feel like that didn't make sense. But again, these are just like little things that I noticed. Of course, no movie is perfect, and at the end of the day, it is just a movie. It's supposed to be entertaining and fun, not taken too seriously. So overall, I did really enjoy the movie, and I think the whole concept was just so interesting. And I don't know, I don't think there's ever been a movie that I've seen like that before. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this movie down below. What did you guys think of the setup? What did you think of the ending? What do you think is going to happen in part 2? Also, if there are any other thriller slash mystery movies that you guys want me to talk about, let me know in the comments down below. I'm pretty sure my next movie is going to be about the menu. You know what? Maybe we'll get a cheeseburger for that video and we'll kind of like recreate the movie. So yeah, I hope you guys had fun with this video. It was something different. Like I said, I've not seen a movie like this in a while, so I just liked that the concept was so unique and just so fresh. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!